Hill since 1912 with a self-starter in the Cadillac. We used to work to get the car started, work to shift them. Pretty soon the steering wheel's going to go away. We'll just sit there.
It'd be like the Jetsons, like my own personal chauffeur.
Yeah.
Why not? Welcome back to Talk to DIY. I'm Lauren Fix.
I'm Steve Ford. Consider us your own personal technicians. Whatever you have a question, we want to help you out with a problem with your vehicle. We'll solve it.
And remember to look for our camera crews the next time you're out at the parts stores. We send them out from time to time, and they came back with this question from Terry.
All right, I have a 99 Chevy Silverado pickup. It's a four-wheel drive. It has the manufacturer's standard size tires on it. I'd like to upgrade to a larger size tire. Will that cause any problems to the vehicle and my differential or transmission?
Terry, I'd like to address your first question. Depending upon which tires you put on your vehicle may affect your speedometer, but not your differential or your transmission. Let me explain that because it does get confusing. When you change tires and you go with the same outside diameter as the tire that you already have, your speedometer won't have any problems. If you start making changes and go with big aggressive tires, sort of like this knobby tire we have over here, that's going to be a situation where you're going to probably have to have your speedometer changed. But let's get to that in just a minute. Let's sort of describe what you need to look for when you go to that tire store. The first thing you need to know is, what is the tire size on my vehicle? Where is that? That's right here. It's written in the tire. It happens to be highlighted for you. It is in black on your tire wall. This is a 205/55R16. You'll need that information when you go to the tire store. What's on your car, Terry? It's a 245/7516. That's on your 99 Chevy Silverado pickup. That's something you need to know before you go in. Once you're into the store, there's lots of options. You can decide if you want a lower profile look, and I know you asked for a larger, but at least you get to see what's available. That, in those cases, for those of you who want that street rod look, that would be a lower tire sidewall. But you're looking for a bigger tire, maybe to go off-road and have some fun in the mud. If that's the case, one of the things you want to keep in mind is clearances. That's a priority. First thing is the top. You want to make sure that it's going to clear your fender. If it hits at the top, that's going to be a problem. The next thing you want to look is the inside, the outside. This would be where your fender is. This is going to be a problem if you go with too wide a tire, too aggressive of a tire. It could hit this when a suspension is fully loaded downward. It could bottom out at the top or on the sides. Things you need to think about also are the inside, the inner fender. That could be a problem too. Now, once you've got the clearances figured out, you've got some good direction. If you went with a real aggressive tire that's got a larger outside diameter than what came from the factory, you'll want to look at your speedometer because it's totally connected to the speed. So if the outside diameter is different, you're going to have to go to the dealer or to a speedometer shop to have them correct that speedometer so that it reads correctly, so your speedometer and your odometer aren't incorrect. Now, if you've got an older vehicle, you want to change your speedometer gear. You'll have to find the correct application and replace it. Now, Terry, thank you very much for that question. Send us a picture of that truck. We'd love to see it. Next, we have a voicemail from Hunter in Fort Benning, Georgia.
The blower motor fuse located under the hood of my 91 Dodge Dakota keeps burning out. And whenever this happens, the emergency brake light comes on. And it also happens when I turn the AC switch on and when I shift into reverse. And it sounds like a short somewhere, but I don't have any idea where to start looking. Any ideas? Thanks.
All right, Hunter, I can relate to your frustration there with that tone. You said where to start looking because it is a maze sometimes looking under the dashboard and seeing all the wires, and where do you start? Which brings me to an expert that we're fortunate to have on board, Michelle Wynn. Michelle, what comes to mind for you as we go into this, this individual dilemma for Hunter?
Well, several things. First, we'd probably want to start at the fuse block where he says the problem is. And I think you have one there in front of you.
Yes.
Probably the first thing we want to check and make sure that the correct fuse is being used.
Okay. If Hunter were using an incorrect fuse, Michelle, what you're talking about then is what specifically?
Well, the amp rating on the fuse, which is labeled on the top, should be on the top of every fuse. If he's using one with too low of a rating, then that's going to cause the fuse to blow, and really there is no other problem in the circuit.
Okay. Now, that would be ideal because that'd be a quick fix and just a matter of a small investment, probably a buck or two just for the fuse. So let me just demonstrate this, Michelle. We've got it set up here. Our pit crew is arranged with all these components so that we might look at what happens when a fuse blows, when it's the wrong fuse for everybody out there. And for Hunter, this is a 10-amp fuse in a circuit that calls for a 25-amp fuse. A higher current flow fuse is rated. We've got the wrong one in here. What happens? Let's take a look. What happens is the fuse will blow, and perhaps this has never been done on TV before, but we're going to do it. Here it is, a countdown to when we're going to snap this fuse right in front of you. Watch what happens on that 10-amp fuse. 3, 2, 1. It popped. Now, if I pull that fuse out, what it looks like inside, Michelle, of course, if you look at a blade fuse from the side, you can look and you can see inside. Typically, it's going to be burned out, and I've got the correct fuse for this this slot on this fuse panel. It's a 25-amp fuse, and this one says right on the top 2.5. That's the right one. So Hunter, if you have the wrong fuse in there, then you're going to have obviously a fuse that's going to continue to blow. Be sure you've got the right fuse in there. That's our first answer. Michelle, whoa, I just about popped the second one. I got to turn off the switch. Now I put the second fuse in, I can turn the blower motor back on, and as you can see and hear, it's working. So that's gonna help out. Now, Michelle, if it is the right fuse, what other suggestions would you have in conclusion for Hunter?
Well, I would probably consult either a service manual or try to get the proper diagram for that system and find out what loads are connected to that fuse besides the blower motor. Probably the switch that you have there in front of you will be on the same fuse, as well as maybe a blower motor resistor and possibly some other things even that we don't have here in front of us.
Okay, so if you have the wiring schematic, Hunter, and for anybody else doing this type of diagnostic, if you have the wiring diagram, you can follow the circuit and isolate what fuse might be malfunctioning. Be sure you've got the right fuse in the slot for that particular component on a vehicle. That's important as well. Michelle Wynn, thank you for your expertise walking us through that dilemma. And Hunter, we hope this helps you out. Thanks for your question. All right, Lauren, what's next?
What's next? You're right, a service manual will always help get you in the right direction. Remember that 24 hours a day, our website is standing by with more do-it-yourself automotive projects and advice. Just head to DIYnet.com. Coming up next, what to do when that dreaded check engine light comes on.
A power steering pump converts energy from the engine to hydraulic pressure.
A couple who dared to dream are about to find out that dreaming is one thing and doing is quite another.
Don't talk about it, just do it.
You need to calm down.
Your Reality Checked, the series that puts dreams to the test. Wednesday night at 8, 7 Central on Fine Living.
Watch one of America's premier luthiers create handmade instruments from scratch. DIY Handmade Music, tonight at 10 on DIY, online at DIYnetwork.com.
This 4th of July, you can create fireworks with paint at America's first choice for paint tools and techniques, the Home Depot. Discover our revolutionary Color Solution Center, a complete resource for painting ideas, where you can mix and match from the largest color palette in America. Only the Home Depot has it. Now through July 5th, get $5 off 1-gallon cans of quality Behr and Glidden Evermore paint by mail-in rebate. Vibrant colors, brilliant solutions, one place, the Home Depot. You can do it, we can help.
Honey, we're pregnant.
Oh, let's get to work.
Twins. Didn't see that coming.
Morning, baby.
What's so good about it?
Mood swings, perfectly normal. Breast pump. Ow.
There's an accident on the 20, so take the parkway.
Life's better with the Butterfly. Come see all the ways you can get more done at MSN.com.
Don't you love commercials where everyone shouts a lot? Yeah! Well, here's one you'll love, because Shout puts the power compared to Shout when OxyClean powder goes in the wash, it's diluted. No wonder Shout works better on so many stains in just one wash. Yes! Shout gets coffee. Ow! Chocolate! Ow! That's not all. Shout gets out makeup better than OxyClean poured in the wash. Even grass and grape juice. I bet that! S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Nothing compares to the soothing, tranquil water, the lush tropical landscape, and the look on your neighbor's face. When you win HGTV's Outdoor Oasis Sweepstakes and transform your yard, win $100,000 in a trip for 2 to Australia. Brought to you by Outback Steakhouse, Terminix, and these national sponsors. Enter at hgtv.com or by mail.
Bob, could you call your birds?
Looks like our pit crew's starting an auto parts store over there.
You never know what they're up to.
Welcome back to Talk to DIY. Think of us when you have an automotive problem. We'll be glad to help you with a solution.
That's what we're going to do right now with Beverly. She's on the phone from Sugar Creek, Ohio. Hi, Beverly. What's your question?
Well, actually, I have a 1997 Chevy Lumina, and my check engine light's on. We've had the code read, and it comes back as code 0404.
And your check engine light is on all the time? Or
no, it's an intermittent problem. It'll go off for a few days, and it'll come back on.
Okay. Have you done anything at all to try and cure that problem?
Well, the general emissions failure, we replaced the gas cap. We've done a few other little maintenance issues to the car, and it still doesn't fix it.
Okay, and what is your book? You have a code scanner, I assume?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and it's for OBD2, because that's what you have after 1996.
That's correct.
Okay, and what does it say 0404 translates to?
It says general emissions failure.
Okay. Well, the first thing, you were very smart in getting a gas cap, because gas caps can crack or they can be replaced. And if a gas cap is missing, you're right, it would cause a check engine light to turn on. And that's very common. Now, the other thing, if you might try, I don't know if you tried this, would be an air filter. It's kind of remote, but it's a possibility that could cause the check engine light to come on.
Okay.
That's pretty simple. They're really easy to change. I don't know, have you changed these before?
Yes, we have.
Right, and remember, every 6 months or every 6,000 miles or whatever your manual says.
Right.
Okay. Now, it sounds like you're really into this, so we're going to go to the next step. My belief is that you have an oxygen sensor problem. Have you ever replaced an oxygen sensor before?
No, we haven't.
Okay. When it's a general emissions code, it kind of leads you down one road, but because it's intermittent, it gives me the feel that somewhere in your exhaust system that this oxygen sensor may not be functioning properly. Let me just show you a couple places where they might be. As you can see, there's a couple pigtails here. There happens to be one right here on the exhaust system that comes off of each side of this engine. Now, this may not be the exact same setup that you have on your vehicle, but there's a couple of them. Here's another one.
Oh, I see.
Right, and they do go bad. They get built up. They get just everything from use, and you've got a lot of mileage. You said you had how much?
We have right now 176,000 miles on it.
That's a lot of mileage.
Yes, it is.
And if they've never been replaced, they do get old, they do get clogged up, and they do need to be replaced. That's one possibility. All right. Now, another thing is, while you're there and you're checking out that oxygen sensor, you might want to look at the catalytic converter.
Okay.
Have they been replaced at all?
No, they have not.
Okay, do remember that if you do replace them, they are considered hazardous and they have to go to a certain area to be disposed of. You wouldn't just take them to your curb.
Okay.
All right, just so you know. Let me just show you the inside of a catalytic converter so you have an idea of what you're looking at. The outside of the housing is metal, okay, and inside there's a little insulator, and that insulator protects the honeycomb, which has got catalyst in it. So when your exhaust gases go through this catalyst, it goes out the back and the pollutants are not harmful, or less harmful, shall we say.
Okay.
All right. Now, if it does get plugged up, because it's really teeny little honeycombs, that when it gets plugged up, it doesn't function properly.
That would explain maybe why I'm getting less gas mileage.
Aha. That answers a lot of things. If you've got less gas mileage, that's telling us if this is plugged up, it's creating back pressure, and that could be a problem.
Okay.
So it sounds like you might have possibly a two-step problem. What I would do is have the catalytic converter checked. If it's all rusted through and you have a hole in the housing of the catalytic converter, that may need to be replaced. If it's just rusted, just in a case like this one, it's got some surface rust on it, that may not be your problem. I would literally knock on it, just knock on it like you would a muffler. If you hear a lot of loose particles inside, it needs to be replaced. You can also check the welds in the exhaust system while you're at it too, because that could be a problem too.
All right.
All right. Well, that's great. Another thing, just so you know, if it still happens after you've replaced your converter, you were wise, you got the oxygen sensors, and these are things you can do yourself.
Right.
Okay. You might want to look at the throttle position sensor. That's a possibility, but I have a feeling that it sounds like the catalytic converter from what you've told me.
Right.
Great,
Thank
Beverly.
you so much.
Thank you, Beverly. Good luck to you.
Thank you.